In today's video, I'm gonna go over my 10 favorite B-boy push-ups, which I believe help you a lot for breaking. At least they've helped me massively for breaking. I don't do all of them all the time. I kind of cycle through them, especially it depends on what I'm working on. But in this video, I'm pretty much gonna cover most of my favorite ones that have given me a lot of strength, coordination, and of course, balance on both sides. Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. I am AJ47 from Soul Mavericks crew. If you are new, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, share it with a friend who you think might benefit. And of course, there are ways that if you would like to support the channel, which I would greatly appreciate, there are ways you can do so linked in the description below. If you notice, most of the time breakers, we tend to be stronger on one side. If you look at the size of that arm compared to that arm, it's just, this one's much bigger because I use this all the time. So these kind of freezes, these kind of push-ups kind of help balance that out a little bit and maintain strength. Don't laugh, by the way, guys. Yeah, don't laugh. I'm insecure about that, yeah? No, I'm joking. But guys, here's my top 10 push-ups. Ready? First push-up I have for you guys is the cat curl push-up. It's very much like a regular push-up. For breakers, we keep our hands close together relatively. Make sure our shoulders don't flare out at the sides, and we're gonna push straight up. When you get to the top, you're gonna dome your back out at the top like a turtle shell, like you were doing in the backspin. And this way it just engages all of the shoulder muscles a little bit more, all of the back muscles a little bit more. And then when you lean forward, you're slightly leaning forward more into a pseudo planche push-up. This one's a great one to just activate all of the muscles in the back a little bit more than you might be used to. Pressing your heels together a little harder will squeeze your glutes, and it should activate your core. Be mindful of making this a more of a full body exercise, considering this is the most basic version of the push-up in this top 10 list. Focusing on the technique and get the most bang for your buck out of this push-up. The next two are plyometric, because breaking is plyometric in nature. Everything that we do is explosive. So these two push-ups are essential for me, in my opinion, for the way I like to break, especially when I'm going from low to really high, upside down. These push-ups help me maintain that kind of explosiveness, or even build on that explosiveness if I don't have it or if I lack it, because it can come and it can go, especially in times like this where we're quarantined and you don't get much time to actually go to training and train those breeze moves that you might have where you're low and then you go up to high. For me, these are the most important two push-ups. I will use these before I use any of the others. Next, we have the air baby climbers. Once you get to the top of this regular push-up, you need to explode at the top and then position your hands to catch an air baby. It's obvious that you would need an air baby, especially the two-handed air baby, on both sides first. If you can't explode and jump into this yet, you can also use this beginner's version, bearing in mind if you have the air baby itself, and climb into it, literally. Don't get disheartened if you can't do this one off the bat. It's definitely worth practicing. The air baby is a great safety move as well. So learning how to explode up to that move from the floor is really good for your strength, your coordination, your timing, your balance, everything. And it's a good gateway move between the lower freezes like baby freeze and the higher freezes like upside down stuff, basically. So it's a really good transition move between those. If you can use plyometrics to get to that, it's even better. If you can't, you can also climb into it, literally like the air baby climber. You can do a push up, just reposition your hands, climb into it, hold the freeze, and then come back down, push up and repeat on the other side. Next is the Maverick Push Up. This one is a crew member of mine, mid-air. Me and him created this push-up we was doing shows, so we wanted a way to stay fit, stay healthy, and we had a very small dressing room. So during that time, during the dressing room, we created this push-up and a bunch of others, but this one is the one that really stuck for us, and this is the Maverick Push-Up. You're basically gonna need two jab freezes on either side, and you're gonna need to learn how to jump from one side to the other. What I do in my preference is I do a press up, I jump to my secondary side on the jab, so this is my master hand, and then I'll switch to my master hand and then do the press up. That way I always know it's easier to go from this one to this one and then push up, especially as I start to fatigue. But of course, if you want to variate it, you can swap it around. So you go this one push up, and then this one push up, if that makes sense. Again, I have an easier version of this, which I saw on Moy's video, and also Renegade used to do that in our drills. So it's called the stab switches. You literally go into the stab freeze, legs wide apart, you jump and you switch to the other side and you repeat. You can alternatively, if you can't do this plyometrically, what you can do is you can just place your hands on the floor and adjust, change your hand, and then lower yourself back down. If you keep doing the Maverick push-up over the course of like 3 to 4 weeks, I guarantee that you're gonna see incredible strength and explosive gains within your breaking, especially if you do like loads of freezes. If you don't do any freezes and you're not going to see the gains, but if you're doing freezes, especially pushing up and changing shape, and you want it to be sharp and snappy, the Maverick push up is that push up for you. And the reason being is because not only do you have to use your core, you have to position your legs. It's a full body exercise. To catch the Maverick push up on one side, you have to place your legs in the correct place. You have to engage your core. You have to squeeze your glutes, make sure that the legs are in the right position, and then you have to repeat that on the other side. It's a balance game. It's a speed game. The Maverick push up is definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite after the Plyo press ups, because it is plyometric, but it's a plus. It's a Plyo plus, and it's very breaking. So the Maverick push-up is definitely something that you should add into your push-up routine. Next, we have the Plyo switch. The Plyo switch, again, a great plyometric workout. You're really strengthening the positions that are very similar to baby freeze and chair freeze, but without the stab. So you get to go past that negative point. It's going to give you some really good strength gains, and you're probably going to build some muscle doing this one as well. Obviously, there's also a beginner version for this where you can lower yourself down, just come back up, reposition your hands to the top, switch hands, and then lower yourself back down and repeat. Next up is the Pike Push Up. The Pike Push Up, this one I'm leaning forward, I'm keeping my arms tucked into my sides, I'm bending my arms so my elbows don't flare out at the sides, and I'm bringing my nose down to the floor. This is particularly good for us. I mean, I suppose it's really great if you're going to be doing handstand push-ups. I don't think that's super necessary for us as B-boys, but I'm not against it. Like, totally, if you can get it and you can use it and make it fresh within your craft, why not? Do you know what I mean? Do it. And this is a good gateway, a very beginner's version of a gateway to doing that. The adaptation that I prefer from the Pike push up is just the lowering down from handstand. So if we was to do something on our hands and lower back down to baby freeze, this one's a great one, especially if you don't have the room in your house or the ceiling's low, so you can't practice lowering yourself down into lower freezes. I think the Pike push up is a great way to strengthen the shoulders and the triceps for that movement. Now, the Hindu press up is a really challenging press up. It's not so challenging going down as for breakers. I got a feeling it's more of a challenge going back. For me, it's much harder going backwards and then pushing your butt back into the sort of downward dog position before then going back down for another Hindu press up again. This one is great. It gets areas that I'm not really too strong in, and so I've started doing the Hindu press up a lot more, especially recently, and I thought I would add this in for you guys because I can already feel the strength differences since I've been doing this, and it's definitely transferring for breaking as well. And next up, I have the press freeze push up. So I've done a press conditioning tutorial not too long ago, and I use some press freezes a fair bit in my breaking, you know, inspired from when I started breaking in the early 2000s. I would see a lot of the 90s b-boys do this, like Ben Stacks, Ronnie, Thesis was doing a lot of this as well when he was with, I think it was Circus Runaways when they were doing that. But yeah, the press freeze, and then Jin, you know, there was a lot of b-boys, Dizzy, that were doing the press freeze style. Adding them into a push-up just sort of forcing me to do it a little bit more often, especially on my opposite side, because I will train the freeze and the shape and the style and the combo, but I might not train the other side. So the press freeze push-up really makes me train it on both sides. Even though I'm holding it with two hands, the strength gains are still transferable, and you'll still hold these freezes significantly longer after you've been doing this push-up variation for some time. Now, for the beginners that don't know how to do the press freeze push-up, there's not really a beginner's version for this. The way that you would do it is you would place your hands on the floor, you're literally going to lean your knee onto the side of your elbow, and you're going to lean over with your shoulders. Okay, much of it is a patience game, like a waiting game, until you're actually strong enough to find the balance. But you can find the balance with this. You can climb into this a little slower. You don't have to jump into it, but it's going to take a little while. If this is unfamiliar for you, there are plenty of other push-ups that you can sort of get stuck into for now. And I don't think no push-up series would be complete without switching it up a little bit. For breaking, we spend a lot of time on our back, and sometimes we like to go from our back straight upside down. So I've included the bridge push-up for this. The bridge push-up is definitely something I've started using more. My bridge is not the best bridge in the world, as you can see. There's no secret here. Like my shoulders aren't as flexible as my hips and my legs. But some of you are going to have a fantastic bridge push-up, and it's going to be so useful for you. If you're even more stiff than I am, I would recommend putting your feet on a block or on the sofa or something like this, bringing your butt close to the sofa and then doing your push-ups from there. It makes it much easier to open out into your shoulders. And just remember, when you are doing the bridge push-ups, use your legs as well. Because when you don't use your legs, you're gonna feel a lot of stress on your lower back, and we don't want that. So you want to use your legs, squeeze your glutes, like really squeeze the butt cheeks to alleviate the pressure off the lower back. when you push up and you come back down, what I'm doing is I'm not coming all the way down, I'm just putting the top of my shoulder blades on the floor, but I'm staying active and engaged in my arms. So when I push back up, I'm not actually giving my body a rest. I'm going from down, I'm holding for a second, I'm going up, and I'm holding for maybe 2 counts. 2 counts, and then come back down and repeat. If you'd like me to do some more bridge shoulder stuff, I mean, that's what I'm working on for myself at the moment, so I can kind of share with you guys what I'm working on, because it's a weak area of mine, so this is what I'm working on. If you'd like me to share that, I can do. And there you have it. These are my favorite push-ups. If you wanted to put these into a workout, take 3 to 5 of these push-ups, have a small rest in between, and then 6 to 8 repetitions is a good repetition range. I kind of mix these into my workout. I will tend to usually do the 5, and I will take the 6 to 8 range, and I'll take 5 of these, and I'll include at least 2 of the more breaking specific ones. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you've enjoyed that video. Subscribe if you're new, like the video if you like it, and again, as always, if you would love to support the channel, I would love it if you did. There's ways that you can do that linked in the description below, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.